everything back where you found it before someone gets hurt.
Hi, I have come to save the day.
Do you want to be the war machine? Take your shot.
Throwing termite grenade.
Hey everyone, Thordan Smash here, and today we're going to be talking about a pretty heavy topic in regards to the future of Apex Legends, as EA is looking to either sell or merge with a different company, and how will that impact Apex Legends in the future for good or bad, and what will the impact be on Respawn as well. We're also going to give out 33 bucks today. All you got to do is like, comment, subscribe. You guys know the drill. But without further ado, let's talk about the future. So starting off with the news, I thought I'd give you guys a quick update. Ezra RC let us know that we are going to be getting the Depths of the Void Wraith skin, which is a recolor for Quarantine 722 on May 31st, and that we are going to be getting the War Machine Pathfinder on June 14th, which will be coming bundled with a Peacekeeper and Pathfinder pack. So do be on the lookout for those if you wanted to get those skins. And of course, that bundle will cost you a pretty penny, most likely over $20. And that is going to lead us into our main topic today about EA and how they are actually looking to sell or merge their company. This shouldn't be surprising, as other major publishers have recently been bought out, such as Activision by Microsoft, along with Bungie being acquired by Sony. And in the case of Activision actually being bought out by Microsoft, is kind of a good thing because it can actually reinvigorate the Call of Duty series. It gives them a lot more funding. But the question is, with EA being sold or merged, is the same situation going to be happening here? Well, the first thing to look at is who are they actually trying to merge or being bought out with. There was a possible merger that almost went through by NBC Universal, but there's acquisition talks with Disney and Apple. It has been stated that if there was to be a merge, that the CEO, Andrew Wilson of EA, would actually remain in his position and just have more money and stuff to play with, which I personally actually don't think is a great idea because I'm not a huge fan of EA's monetization practices. However, if they were actually sold, bought out by a different company such as Disney and Apple, that would not seem to be the case. However, the problem is those companies don't necessarily have a strong history in the video game sphere. Disney worries me a ton. They actually used to have a department that ran video games, but it failed spectacularly, and all the employees were eventually laid off, and they just moved to actually hiring companies like EA to produce their video games, as we saw with the Star Wars license. Speaking of, I also don't want Disney to acquire this because I saw the horrible tragedy they did with the sequel trilogy for Star Wars, and I just don't know if they know how to handle other intellectual properties and be hands-off in the way that they would need to. But the really big reason why all of this is actually very worrisome is the reason that EA wants to be acquired is so that they can actually acquire more studios. It's important to know that EA in the last couple years has spent $5 billion to actually buy out smaller studios, and most of the time those end up with massive layoffs, like when they bought the original Star Wars Battlefront company and then ended up laying off all their employees. But the other issue with that is spending that $5 billion to buy these companies, because EA just reported that Apex Legends had made them a net revenue of $2 billion. That's not how much money the game has made in total, that's just how much EA has profited off of it. And instead of spending that $2 billion to actually shore up a lot of their employees that have been quitting recently, these are just some tweets from the last 6 months of some of the directors leaving, the map designers, the guy who was in charge of the ranked experience. They have all left, showing that there is some kind of discord with the publisher EA. Not to mention that when you go to Respawn's website, they have 35 open positions for software development, 15 for open game design, and just in general, a ton of open vacancies. So instead of spending that $2 billion to actually shore up their own staff and team, they're using it to buy other studios instead of putting it back into the game, where they're selling $160 heirloom skins along with the mythic skin for $160 as well. And it shows in the type of content that we're actually getting. I have been enjoying season 13, but it's impossible not to notice that with the short staff that Respawn has and EA not putting more money into their own game, it has been showing, with Stormpoint having only 2 major changes: the POI with the giant dead creature and the IMC armories, both great additions and I've really been enjoying them. But when you compare it to past seasons when they had a more full staff and EA was putting more money into it, such as in Apex Legends 4th season Assimilation, we actually had a sky map change, 2 new POIs in the form of the Planet Harvester and the Survey Camp. They added the weapon racks on the map as well, and they split Capital City into Fragment East and Fragment West. It's totally fine to sell tons of cosmetics, but to do so, you need to have the content to back it up and have it releasing fairly regularly instead of having an understaffed team and just leave it like that for the last 6 months. Also, can we spend some of that $2 billion to get better servers? Is that a thing we can do? Let me know down below because I'm very interested to hear your guys' opinion. Do you think that EA being merged or sold to another company will be good for the future of Apex Legends, or do you view this as something that could go horribly, horribly wrong? And until next time, Legends, keep slaying in the Outlands, and I'll see you out there.